Have you ever wondered why the people who drain you the most are often the very ones you once treated the best? They don't scream, they don't curse, they don't hit you. They just stay silent and turn that silence into a sharpened blade. A message left unanswered, a smirk when you stumble, a half-joking comment that plants a seed of doubt inside you. And when you can't take it anymore, they look at you with cold eyes, as if you are the one with the problem. It could be that coworker who always smiles politely, but stabs with small cuts behind your back. It could be that family member whose silence is so heavy, it terrifies you. Or worse, it could be the person you once loved, gave everything to, only to realize you were just a puppet in their emotional game. And you walk away, exhausted, telling yourself, I just want to keep the peace. I don't want to make things worse. But the more you give in, the more you feel a war exploding inside you. On the outside, a forced smile. On the inside, a scream of exhaustion. Machiavelli would never advise you to live like this. He would ask directly, are you truly being kind, or are you simply allowing others to eat away at you piece by piece? This is the moment you must ask yourself, who really controls my life, me or them? Toxic people don't want you to understand them. They only want to measure you. How long you worry, how you react, how you break down. Every time you write a long text, every time you apologize, every time you try to make them understand, that's when you sink deeper into the trap they set. The harsh truth is this: you cannot fix someone who has no intention of changing. Your tears, your promises, your patience only sharpen their game further. 99% of people hearing this will just nod and continue to endure. Only 1% will dare to act. Which group are you in? If you truly want change, comment below, I am no longer a puppet. Because only when you face the truth head-on will you be ready for the next step. And the next step is Machiavelli's first strategy: intentional silence. Toxic people survive on one thing only: your reaction. They don't need to scream in your face. All it takes is a vague remark, a half smile, or a prolonged silence, and then they sit back, watching. Not to understand, but to measure. How long you'll squirm, how you'll explain yourself, how you'll unravel, all because of a calculated silence. Remember this: they are not screaming at you. It's you who is screaming at yourself. Example: a coworker sends you an email with a sneer. Oh, finally got it right for once. Your blood rushes to your face, your hands tremble, ready to fire back, ready to list 100 times you did it right. But the more you react, the more you prove they've succeeded. Or in your family, a relative suddenly goes silent for an entire day, ignoring your messages. Panic sets in. What did I do wrong? Are they mad at me? You write 10 messages, apologizing, promising, begging, only to get a cold reply. It's nothing. And then you realize you were chasing an empty void. They're not seeking reconciliation, they're seeking fuel. And your emotions are the fuel that feeds their game. Machiavelli would say, don't step onto their chessboard. Intentional silence means cutting off the instinctive reflex. You unplug the energy source they're draining from you. When they mock you, 3 words are enough. Noted. When they go silent to torment you, you stay silent too, but it is the silence of self-control, not anxiety. You let that emptiness pass like a breeze, instead of turning it into a storm inside your chest. What toxic people fear most is not your anger. What they fear most is no longer being able to predict you. Next time, when you receive a message that makes you want to react instantly, try the 3-hour rule. Wait 3 hours before responding, or don't respond at all. Then come back here and comment, I stayed silent. Machiavelli once wrote, "Reaction is weakness, intention is strength." When you choose strategic silence, you send a cold, unmistakable message. I am no longer your puppet. But silence is only the shield. To truly control the board, you will need the sword, and that sword is boundaries. Since childhood, you were taught, saying no is rude, refusing is selfish, setting limits is unloving. So, you grew up like a house without doors. Anyone can walk in, dump their things, and leave whenever. You stay silent and endure, telling yourself, that's being a good person. But the truth is, that lack of boundaries turns you into fertile ground for all forms of control. Remember, how many times have you nodded to agree to something while your heart was breaking? How many times have you replied to a work message at 11 p.m. only because you feared being seen as irresponsible? How many times have you sat for hours listening to a relative complain, even though your mind was exhausted, simply because you didn't want to be called uncaring? Each time you give in, you silently send a message, I have no limits. I will endure. I will not refuse. And others will believe that message. Machiavelli does not view boundaries as morality. He sees them as a sword, a decisive cut, who may enter and who must remain outside. A boundary is not a plea. It is a strategic decision. Example: a co-worker keeps sending work messages after hours. You don't need a long explanation that you have family or need rest. You simply say, I do not answer work messages after 7 p.m. Short, clean, decisive. No apology. Or a friend who only comes to you to dump emotional garbage and then disappears when you need them. You can say, I'm no longer available for long negative venting sessions. Then stop. No further justification. Right now, write down 3 boundaries you want to erect. 1 for work, 1 for family, 1 for social relationships. And if you're truly serious, comment below. I have raised the sword. The most important part. A boundary only matters when you enforce it. Toxic people don't cross boundaries because they don't understand them. They cross them because they know you will do nothing. They try once, you ignore it. They try twice, you soften. By the 3rd time, you're back at the start line. Machiavelli would say, a law is worthless if not enforced. So are boundaries. If a rule is broken, you must act, not with rage, but with coldness. Reduce contact time, limit permitted topics. And, if necessary, close the door. No farewell needed. But be careful. When boundaries go up, the toxic will not give up. They will cry, induce guilt, beg for one last time. And then you will need Machiavelli's next counter, inversion move. Withdraw like a ghost. Toxic people don't want apologies. They don't want forgiveness. What they truly crave is your reaction. Whether it's arguments, tears, or messages longer than a page, all of it is fuel that keeps their control alive. And here lies the sweetest trap. You think you are solving the problem, but in reality, you're only feeding it. Picture this. You have an ex who always knows how to pull you back into the spiral. Every time you try to leave, they text, "We need to talk one last time. You deserve an explanation." And so you spend hours debating, crying, only to end up stuck again. The harsh truth is this: closure is not a gift they give you. Closure is a verdict you grant yourself. The inversion move teaches you to do the opposite. No arguments, no justifications, no last time. When they say, "You've changed," you simply answer, "Yes," short, cold, not another word. When they demand closure, you don't give it. You pull all emotional energy off the board and let them perform alone on an empty stage. The same applies at work. A coworker whispers, "The boss doesn't seem happy with you." If you take the bait, you scramble to prove your innocence. But with the inversion move, you simply reply, "Noted." Then return to your work. Not one more second of dialogue. Within the next 72 hours, try going ghost. When someone demands an explanation, respond with one short sentence or with silence. Then return here and comment, "I disappeared." Toxic people will panic when you stop fueling them. They will cry, blame, even rage. But remember, that is not love nor remorse. It's just addiction, crashing without a dose. And this is when you realize disappearing is not running away. It is a strategy to reclaim power. You no longer move according to their game. You have withdrawn your pieces, and they have nothing left to cling to. Machiavelli would call this silent power. No need to shout, no need to prove. Just vanish, and let the emptiness itself become the cold declaration. The game is over. In every manipulation, your words are the chains. The more you explain, the more you tighten them yourself. Toxic people don't need to win by argument. They only need you to keep talking. Every sentence you utter gives them another piece to flip, to stab back with, to extend the game indefinitely. Remember this, they don't need the truth. They only need you to keep opening your mouth. Machiavelli would never advise long-winded arguing. He'd say, "Speak little, but let each line be like a blade, short, cold, and enough to end the loop immediately." Imagine, you're arguing with someone who always blames. They growl, "If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be suffering like this." By instinct, you want to rebut, to list 100 reasons. But instead of falling into the trap, you simply reply, "That's your opinion." Short, crisp. The game ends on the spot. Or a coworker keeps messaging you off hours. Instead of justifying, "Sorry, I'm busy with family, please understand," you simply say, "I do not answer work messages after 7 p.m. No apology, no extra words, just a decisive cut. A relative accuses, "You've changed. You don't care about family anymore." You might soften, try to prove you're still good. But the coldest cut phrase is, "Yes, I have changed." And you frame the story closed, not opening any door for them to crawl back through. Right now, choose one cut phrase, write it down, and keep it with you. Next time you're provoked, try using it instead of a long reaction. If you're ready, comment below. I cut the loop. Cut phrases are not empty philosophy. They are sharp blades. One well-timed sentence can sever 1,000 binding cords, while endless explanation will weave 1,000 new ones. The toxic will twist you. "Why are you so cold? Don't you care about my feelings?" But that's not a question, it's a trap. They're searching for a crack to pull you back through. And if you answer at length, you hand them the key. Remember, power does not lie in speaking much. Power lies in knowing how to speak little, but making each sentence a full stop. Machiavelli once wrote, "A precise sentence can cut 1,000 cords." And when you learn to use language as a blade, you not only free yourself, you also leave the other party exhausted with nothing left to cling to. Tonight, practice saying one cut phrase in front of a mirror. No emotion, no justification, just one sentence. And if you did it, comment, "I cut." But remember, sharp language is only part of it. The toxic will continue to test your emotions. And when they do, you will need the higher weapon, emotional discipline, the thing that lets you own the room by sheer calm. Toxic people are not stronger than you. They are simply better at watching. They track the smallest details, a furrowed brow, an exhale, the frantic message you send in a panic. They don't need physical strength. What they want is the map of your emotions. And once they have that map, they can manipulate you like a puppet. You don't lose because you're weak. You lose because you let them take the tempo of your heartbeat. Imagine, in a meeting, a colleague throws a sarcastic line. Surely you won't mess it up this time, right? The room erupts in laughter. Blood rushes. Every muscle urges you to strike back. But you stop. You breathe, lift your head, and simply answer, "We'll see." Calm, short, no justification. In that moment, the atmosphere sags. It's not you who's embarrassed. It's the other person who looks petty. Their attack fails to touch you. That is the power of emotional discipline, Machiavelli wrote. He who controls himself truly holds power. Toxic people win when you flare up, when you rush, when you let anger lead. But when you hold your breath, hold your gaze, hold your tone, the entire board shifts. In the next 24 hours, try restraining a reaction. When someone provokes you, instead of snapping back, inhale and count to 10. If you do it, come back here and comment, "I kept the beat." Emotional discipline is not indifference. It is the ability to choose when to react, when to stay silent, and when to walk away. Ordinary people let emotions drive them. The strong pilot their own emotions. Try a simple exercise. Each night, write down 3 moments from the day that drained you. Maybe a message from a colleague who loves to shift blame, a call from a family member that's only complaining, or a conversation that left you hollow. Write them down, then rate them 0 to 10. How much did they drain you? Those numbers don't lie. They show who is controlling your heartbeat the most. And once you see clearly, you can begin training. Before each reaction, apply the 10-minute rule. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 7 seconds, exhale 8 seconds. Repeat until 10 minutes pass. Then ask yourself, does this response truly need to happen? Toxic people feed on impulse, but when you remain calm, you own the room. You don't need to shout. You don't need grand gestures. Your composure is the voice that silences everyone. Try it tonight. When your mind is about to flare, write on paper, "I don't need to react." And if you did it, comment, "I own the room." Emotional discipline doesn't come overnight. It's the result of practice, repeated until it becomes instinct. And when you reach that point, something strange happens. Others feel it, and they won't dare poke you anymore. But mere calm is not enough. To turn calm into the law of the game, you need a cold system of principles, the laws of power Machiavelli treated as a compass, and that is strategy 6. A strategy is only truly strong when laws protect it. Without them, you soften, you forget, and you slip back into old habits. Machiavelli knew this well. The one who holds power is not the most merciful, but the one who sets laws and enforces them without hesitation. The harsh truth is, if you don't set laws, others will set them for you. Engrave these 10 laws of power into your mind. Each law is a sword, a shield, and a reminder that your peace is not a gift, but territory to be defended. Law 1. Whoever gets angry when you set boundaries is the one who benefited when you had none. A co-worker resents you for refusing overtime. A relative calls you selfish when you stop carrying their load. They're not mad because you're wrong. They're mad because you cut off their supply. Law 2. Unconditional loyalty turns you into a slave. In love or work, if you prove loyalty by enduring everything, you are not a partner. You are a servant. Law 3. You are not obligated to heal anyone. You can care. You can support. But if they refuse responsibility, their wounds will become weapons turned against you. Law 4. If you have to argue about your worth, you're in the wrong place. True love does not need proof. True respect does not need defense. Law 5. Silence is calculated control. Don't argue with fire. Remove the oxygen. One phrase, "That's your opinion," can extinguish an entire blaze. Law 6. Guilt is a chain. Every time you hear, "You've changed, you're so cold," remember, it's not truth. It's a tactic. Law 7. Closure is not a conversation. It is a verdict you deliver to yourself. You don't need apologies. You don't need one last talk. Closure happens when you say, "Enough." Law 8. Time and access are privileges, not default rights. Someone once in your life doesn't mean they hold a lifetime ticket. Access to you must be re-earned continuously. Law 9. Emotional discipline is power. The loudest person isn't the strongest. The calm one who knows when to speak and when to stay silent truly owns the room. Law 10. You are no longer the person they once manipulated. You've changed. You've seen the game. And this time, you won't react the same way. Right now, choose one of these 10 laws. Just one. Write it down and place it where you see it daily. If you've chosen, comment below, "I carved the law." A law is only strong when enforced. Toxic people don't give up because you set laws. They give up when you enforce them, without a single concession. Machiavelli once wrote, "Laws don't exist for decoration. Laws exist to be executed. And when you execute, each law becomes armor plating around you." But sometimes, even with laws, you will face the hardest choice: leaving. No noise, no explanation. Just one cold, decisive step. And that is strategy 7, the cold exit. We often think, to end a toxic relationship, you need a long talk, a final explanation, or a carefully written message. But the truth is, every ending like that is just another door left open for the game to continue. Toxic people don't want closure. They want another loop. Remember, words don't free you, only silence does. Picture a woman who spent 10 years in a controlling marriage. She cried, she begged, she wrote dozens of letters hoping her husband would finally understand her. But he never changed. Until one morning, she said nothing. She just packed her bags, closed the door, and left. No message, no goodbye, no last time. And it was that silence that became the true ending. The same applies at work. You have a boss who praises in public, but tears you down in private. You tried proving your worth, working twice as hard, waiting for recognition. But recognition never came. The day you quietly sent a resignation email, no excuses, no explanations, not a single line left behind. That was the day you reclaimed your power. The cold exit doesn't mean vanishing from the world. It means cutting off the toxic person's access to your life. You are no longer the emotional switch they can press at will. Right now, write down the name of one person or one situation you know you need to leave behind. No need to announce it. Just write. If you dare to face it, comment, "I chose the exit." Toxic people won't let go easily. They will cry, accuse, spread stories that you're cruel, that you've changed. But remember, they're not crying because they lost you. They're crying because they lost control over you. You are not cruel for leaving. You are wise for refusing to pay one more day into a game that never changes. The cold exit is not revenge. It is rescue. It is not indifference. It is proof that at last, you've seen the nature of the game, and you refuse to play it any longer. Machiavelli would say, "Power is not in winning every argument. Power is in being able to stand up, walk away, and never look back." If you've ever left a toxic relationship, comment, I have escaped before. And if you haven't, comment, I won't wait another 10 years. The cold exit is the doorway to a new chapter, a place where peace no longer needs permission, a place where your boundaries become your legacy. People will say, you've changed. And you will simply answer, yes, I have changed. Leaving is not the final period. It is the open ellipsis. It carries you to new ground, where you can rewrite the rules entirely. This is the final strike in Machiavelli's 7 strategies. And when you have the courage to leave in silence, you will understand one truth. Your true legacy is not what you gave unconditionally, but the boundaries you held firm until the very end. After all this, you realize one truth. Toxic people are not complicated. They repeat the same formula: silence to torture, sweet words to bind, guilt to pull you back. What makes them win is not that they are smarter, but that you play with emotions while they play with power. But from now on, the rules have changed. You no longer fight with tears, you fight with strategy. The 7 Machiavellian strategies don't turn you into someone heartless. They turn you into someone who protects the most sacred territory: your mind, your time, your energy. And when you hold that territory, all manipulation becomes meaningless. Look back at the journey. You learned intentional silence, cutting off their fuel. You built boundaries like a sword, making anyone who crosses face consequences. You practiced the inversion move, withdrawing like a ghost, leaving them trapped in their own play. You used cold language cut phrases, ending loops with a single line. You trained emotional discipline, owning the entire room with calmness. You carved the 10 laws of power, enforcing them as steel armor around you. And finally, you mastered the cold exit, walking away without return. Right now, choose one strategy, just one, and in the next 24 hours, apply it. If you're ready to act, comment below, I begin to change. People will say, you've changed. And your answer should be, yes, I have changed. Because if you don't change, you will repeat the same exhausting cycle. Machiavelli once wrote, true power is not granted, it is held tight with discipline. And the greatest discipline is refusing to be manipulated. The final question is not, do you believe in these strategies? The real question is, do you dare to act? In the years ahead, when people mention your name, what will they say? That you gave until you were drained? Or that you stood up, built boundaries, and walked away in silence? Write down in the comments the strategy you will apply this week. Let it be a public vow, a vow that you no longer play by someone else's rules. Protect your peace as you would protect a kingdom. Set boundaries, keep silence when needed, and if you must leave, leave coldly, without explanation. Because power is not in shouting loud. Power is walking away and never returning. You've just walked with me through 7 Machiavellian strategies to escape every toxic cycle. But remember, knowledge does not change you. Only action changes you. This week, you will stand at 2 crossroads. One leads you back to old habits, yielding, staying silent in anxiety, trying to explain yourself to those who never want to understand. The other is where you set boundaries, keep intentional silence, and if needed, walk away coldly. So which path will you choose? Return as a puppet, or become the one holding the board? Comment right now a short line, as a vow. I have changed. That will be the marker that you will never go back to your old life. And don't forget, this is not the end. In the next video, I'll share deeper principles, the cold laws that let you not only escape someone else's game, but build a board of your own. Power is not in shouting loud. Power is in the cold, step away, and never turning back.